and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th. It's 2024 on the ancient moon calendar, 2025 on the ancient sun calendar. And we will, to honor our Espanol brothers and sisters as well, for Cinco de Mayo. It is interesting that this day is Cinco de Mayo because of the meaning of the word sink. Sink is a homonym. It's spelled several different ways, but it sounds the same. It's both a homonym and it could be a synonym. Our Cinco de Mayo is synchronization of mother. Maya is the name or the appellation for mother. It is a word that means mother. And we are synchronizing and synchronized with the mother energy, the matriarchal energy, which our sons have as well as we do. So for us, Synchronization de Mayo is a beautiful celebration. And for that, we are grateful. Cinco de Mayo, for those fraudulent fictions who were previously enacting shipping, is exactly what it says. Cinco de Mayo. That thing sunk. It's done. It's finished. The fraud is finished. And for that, we are also grateful. So this day is a dual celebration for us. And when we say dual, we don't mean dual like the Western dual. We mean dual as in having two reasons to celebrate and not just one. Islam. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in alignment and accordance with the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this Holy Congress. We are, this is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan, Universal Court Action. We are the divine sovereign living justices and Eggleston Pauline Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay, and all are in capitis diminutio nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capit et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal natural head and body for our empire. And if you hear any noise in the background, we're having some work done on the carpets around here. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Israelites, Hamathites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient empire state for Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington, District 4, Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earth-wide Article 3, Moorish American Consular Court. Today and every day, we are demonstrating and being the law by our sovereign status, which is the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3, living United States District for Columbia Court. And we are the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, trustees, divine ministers, possessors, grantors, grantors, and title trustors and trustees for all causes for action. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our own sovereign divine ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war. We are at wa, and wa means truth. And we exercise and demonstrate all eternal ancient sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-pro-tunc. The principles that we share Along with our divine, sovereign, powerful demonstrations and study are stare decisis, res judicata, and ancient positive supreme law for the land long established in sovereign order. Erudite principles and processes for daily practical application to intelligently govern our vast estate every day is what our ancient ancestors have given us to share with the ancient sovereign nations, tribes, clans, states, and governments at earth, and for this we are grateful. Islam, and once again, happy synchronization de Mayo, or coming together with Mother. So we will to state for the record that all things are now in our favor. All things are in our favor, as our ancient ancestor, the great prophet Noble Ali, stated that it would be. He said that the economy would grind to a halt, and when it starts back up again, it will be in the favor of the Moors. For that, we're grateful, because we know that that is the case. With that being stated, the great solar eclipse was the marker. That was the marker that said, okay, Moors, it's your turn. You've had all of this time to learn how the system works, learn how things are done. Also know that there is indeed the sovereigns above and the subjects below. And when we say below, we're saying that in the spirit of lower energies, we have a higher self and a lower self. It is still the self, and our subjects are a part of us. So we're grateful for that as well. They play a huge part in modeling how things go. And then now, once the eclipse took place with the dark sun coming across the light sun, we know now that this is our time. And with the sun going from the west to the east, even though it was stated that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, but it rose in the west and set in the east, which means that the transition is complete. We also got the word from our ancient foremothers and forefathers in the spirit realm that the transition is complete. And with that being stated, we will to share our screen and open the table so that we can commune one with another with our discussion. So let's go ahead and do that. And then let's open the chat and all. Just a moment.
The guy behind you was laughing at you, Pauline.
Before we get into our topics, let me just say this really quickly. In my study this past week, I've been watching, there's some very...
Why don't you have a cell phone if the transition is complete, Pauline?
Highly intelligent empresses who don't know that they're empresses. They're not awake yet because they still go by the moniker of Negro, Black, Colored, African American. We were watching them this past week yet again, because we are always looking at ourselves.
If the transition is complete, you should have.
And so we were watching, and they're waking up to knowing that they are the law. They know they're the law. They know the system. They just don't know that they have to come out of the fake one so that it can work for them. But even as I was watching them espousing just great knowledge about the system, I noticed that there was no one attempting to interrupt the meeting. There was no no subjects in the office of court jester coming on and trying to stop them from talking or anything. It was smooth sailing, so to speak. And I just had to laugh because every one of the meetings that I looked at.
You said we were going away in September.
Every one of the meetings that I looked at.
September.
Right now, how about that? Every meeting that I looked at, there was none of that interruption stuff. None. They didn't, because they don't. If we were stating that we were black, they wouldn't be here either. So I had to just really, that gave me a belly laugh as I watched, them. They have great knowledge. So the sisters and brothers doing those meetings, some were esquires and attorneys and things of that nature. Oh, just beautiful information, but that information has to be restated. We know that because we can actually see in their energy that, yes, they know the information is right, but they're not getting the results that they were expecting to get when they came across that information. They were expecting to get rich with the information. I'll just be straightforward with you. They were expecting to just be rolling in the dough. They were expecting to, and the good thing about it is they were expecting to teach everyone the information, but they were going to charge fiat, and some of them still are attempting to do that, but it's not working out well. And so all I was thinking the whole time while I was watching all of this beautiful information that has to be restated is that that's the one thing that's missing is nationality. Nationality. And then I saw some things that we're going to be adding to what we're doing as well, because now, where we are now, we're bringing everything together. Everything together. Nationality was the piece that was missing. I don't care who we were thinking we were in that previous era. It was not going to make us wealthy and keep us wealthy. Let me add that part, because see, some got a little bit and couldn't keep it because of the system. Got a little bit, got a little taste, and willed to keep it. They were trying to keep it. They were hoping they could keep it, but that system is done. And it's not even a system. It was an enactment of it. It was theater. But the principles apply when they're restated. So we're just absolutely excited about that and all that we're seeing with that. And we're going to provide the link to one of the videos that we suggest that you watch at least the first 20 or 30 minutes of that video, because we're now moving forth with possession. And those principles are necessary where possession is concerned. And then nationality is what says we keep it because it's our system. They have great knowledge. Our brothers and sisters out there who they're still thinking they're black and Negro and colored and African American, but they have some information. They have some principles. But the principles are not continuing to work for them because they must be restated. So, and we're going to continue to be purposefully redundant with that whole restatement piece, because that's the only way you'll be able to prosper. It's the only way. Only way you'll be able to prosper is to come out of her, that fake mother, that fake system. So with that being stated, please keep your banking going. Islam Empress.
I just wanted to remark that the last few conferences with Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, he makes a special point to say that you must claim competently.
Yes.
Otherwise, you cannot claim your estate. He keeps saying that, and I'm so grateful that I'm with these incredible people, and I've learned, and I've taken the time to learn it. Then I'm here for those who are going to need us. I realize we got a big job. We're just getting started. So.
And
anyway,
yet you still have nothing, Cynthia.
Islam. You know, Empress, I'm grateful that you stated that, because it has been 7 years for us, going on 7 years. This is the 6th going into the 7th year for us of learning this information, and the curve has been greatly steepened, simply because, and so those that are coming, it won't take them 7 years. They're going to come in with their eyes wide open, just like our Prophet Noble Ali said about this information. But there had to be pioneers who started, and we're not claiming to be the only pioneers or the trailblazers and things. And when I say we, I mean everyone at this Congress, and including our teachers who were pioneering and trailblazing and chopping things down and building a pathway for us before we ever even thought about waking up. You know, we didn't even know we had to wake up. So our teachers, we're so grateful for them. And speaking of Grand Sheikh Tajiri Bey, he said several things that just affirmed what we've been stating. He even made mention of the capital letters versus the lowercase letters and things of that nature. He talked about those briefly, the capital letters and things. He talked about, and this was at House of Reawakening Minds. If someone could put the link to House of Reawakening Minds from this past Friday in the chat.
The chat is locked. I can't put nothing in there right now. What I was trying to open my mic for.
Okay, I had unlocked it, but let me do that again.
Islam, we have the audio for Trump too as well, Empress.
Okay, great. Let me go back and do that action again of unlocking the chat.
Islam and Empress Nabi would like to get in the call. She got booted out by her internet.
Islam. Okay. Hopefully you can post now in the chat.
It's still saying disabled.
Just
Cynthia, still in the trailer park.
Can you do it now?
Not yet.
Saying disabled.
Okay. Let me see if I can get it done over here. Just a moment. Okay, here we go.
Your funny money will get you straight to jail.
It should be open. Let me just try it one more time.
Islam, there we are. Oh, no, we went back again.
Wait.
Now it is. It's good.
Okay. Thank you.
And is the call open for Empress Nabi?
Yes, it is.
Okay, very well. Thank you.
Thank you. And you all understand why we locked the chat briefly, just for the introduction. It does cause the subjects in the Office of Court Justice to not be too happy about that, but their happiness is not our concern.
Oh, that's not me in the chat. Though it was on the topic of Grand Sheikh, if I may. He made mention in the beginning part of the.
Oops. Wait a minute. Go ahead, Empress Angel. Just one moment. Are you there, Empress Angel? Empress Angel, are you there? Just one moment.
Islam, I'm back.
Okay.
Yes. So, as I was stating that, Grand Sheik and Dr. G was speaking about their elation about how well their demonstration went with Mother Empress Redbird, and
Yes.
he was imploring the heirs to make their way to Pennsylvania
Mm-hmm.
to do the demonstration.
Uh-huh.
And I know for certain that we here at New York, we do desire to be there. So we're going to figure out our best way to make it.
Hey, Angel, why don't you have that building on 136th
We're going to go
Street?
ahead and...
Angel, you didn't get...
They do not like us, but we love them. Let's go.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And, that was that part. And also he had made mention about to learn these seats that are open, and so you can be aware of the offices that you're going to be taking and the seats you're going to be filling.
Okay, I guess I missed the seats part. The part about what is that the...
No, 136th Street for Angel Bay.
Is that the congressional seat?
Yes, at the demonstration in Philadelphia.
Okay.
On this coming Mother's Day, and yes, Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
Yes.
And I did not put that link in the chat. That was an imposter that I booted out.
Empress Navi says when he comes in, the actor in the subject office of clown, it kicks her out. The system somehow.
Because they're pretending to be a tail. They are a tail. They're a tail.
You don't.
They're trying to be a tail.
100%.
Is Empress Nabi willing to come in again?
Yes, she is. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell her to speak so she can, or you can ask her when she comes in. So she will. I think she's calling me now. Okay, one moment.
She should be able to come in. We've really done the do. We did it. We did it. And that's why there is, I'm just amazed at how I can go on YouTube and look at meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting of those that it's great information. They think they're Black, and no interruptions from foreign alien subjects in the office of clowns. No interruptions. They don't care if you're claiming you're Black. They don't care what you're saying. They already know that's not a problem. Let's go. Islam,
Empress.
Islam nobility.
What did you think of Taj mentioning the indigenous bones being on the black flag?
There's thousands of YouTubes with
you know
more.
what? I know that everything that we've been seeing in the enactments is a mimicry. It's a mimicry. It's a mimicry. They mimicked. They attempted to mimic everything that we did. There's duality with the skull and bones also, because we know all Masonic signs and symbols and sigils are actually, we're the mother and the son energy. They mimic that from us. So yes, our Grand Sheik can see so many different things and point so many different things out to us. But he will say in a heartbeat that that's our information. It was ours first. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at any of that. I'm not surprised at any of that. Yeah. I also appreciate how our Grand Sheik and Empress Dr. Nyella were talking about the movies and things that are out there telling our story. And the fact that, for example, they were talking briefly about the movie
Leave the World Behind.
That one, yes, that movie.
Yes, that one. Oh, may you open the call for Brother Love? He
Yes.
would like to get in. Thank you.
And she doesn't accept delirium. She rejected.
He was talking about Leave the World Behind. I found it ironic that Barack and Michelle produced the movie, which to me still is pointing to the fact that that whole presidential quote-unquote enactment and all of that was just actors and acting. That's all it was, really. Actors and acting. And it's up to us to determine what the next scenes and scripts and action is going to be. And we've really already stated what it's going to be in terms of our truth.
Islam. That's interesting you say that, because there's a video footage, a short clip of Biden, and he's scratching the back of his neck, and you could see the thin layer. It's like a mask.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? So that was on Duke's Tears video to show the people. So Biden's already been executed. Whoever that is pretending to be Islam.
We know they're actors. We've stated that already, and I didn't put that link in the chat. Let me get rid of the actor. There's an actor acting like Light Tajiri Bey in the chat. Speaking of actors, and not a very good one at that. So let me go ahead and get my big boot on. No, you're an actor. You can't be in here. So, just one moment. Yes, I'm going to put you out. This is not a place for actors. We're the real deal here. We don't have to act. We're here. We are the truth and the light. Just one moment. So, with that being stated, keep your bank records going, Morris, in terms of your banking. All that distortion. Keep your bank records going, current and going, because at some point very soon they're going to be the algorithms are going to match our bank records as we put them, and then we'll be able to just upload everything the way that it should be in terms of sending it. We'll be sending it to our banking system, and the banking system will just upload our bank records almost like a website when we send it, but the banking accounts will look the same as they did previously. It will just have our numbers and our gold and our money and everything, just like our account did, like we showed you, where our account has more sovereign dolarium gold receipts in our account. And just one moment. We gave them the system a template. And so the system has taken the template and it's going to match the template. And when it matches the template and changes, and the units match, and the gold receipts match, and the things that we put there match, the system, we're telling the system what to do. And as the system does that, then we'll be able to show you that and move forward with it. And we could show you banking records now, but we've shown that already in terms of Google Sheets and the things that we put on Google Sheets for our banking records so that we could correct the record, because all of this, everything that we've done has been to place correct records on the public record. First, regarding our identity and who we really are. And then our estate, our inheritance. And then the stopping of any fraud. And then the statement of other aspects of our estate, like banking and things of that nature. And what the banking units should be, what they're equal to, making the systems compatible, because the living systems are compatible. They've been compatible since ancient times. It was our responsibility to state that properly.
Islam
nobility.
Related to what you just mentioned, would it, just for the record, I believe it would be correct to say that we should have two sets of accounts, one for your private estate, your individual estate, and then one for the things that you're doing on behalf of the government with national trust receipts. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to confirm that on the record. Thank you, Islam.
So thank you for that, because that is directly related to the video that we're going to place in the chat for you to look at, Morris. For those who will to have a really good, and I didn't put that link that's in the chat there now. I didn't put that one in there. An actor put it in there. But we will to show you, for clarification of what Noble Phoenix just stated about how things should be set up, the private things that you do for, say, for example, your own domicile and things of that nature, and then the things that you do for the government, and then the things that you do in terms of your own business and things of that nature. We're going to place a link in the chat of a sister, and I don't think that she knows that she's a Moor, that she has a nationality. The sister is just competent when it comes to the differences between those things, and she gives a very clear, basic explanation of how to set that up. Because see, what we know is we're setting up records that we've restated. She made it, her explanation of it would seem complicated if we didn't know that we restate everything else. That everything that we see, we must restate it. So, let me see, I will to honor who she is. So I'm going to not state her name on the platform, but I am going to put the link in the because she has not declared her nationality from what I can see. But she is very, very, she knows her stuff. So I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat. Just one moment. Give me just a moment. Oh, I put it in there 2 or 3 times. Can you all see the link that just went in the chat?
Affirm, yes.
Okay. Affirm, Islam.
Yes, it's just one link.
Yeah, affirm.
But the Empress is just so sharp. She knows her stuff. When it comes to, and she is an Esquire, so she's going by the title of Esquire, which is after her name. Occasionally she calls herself an attorney, and you know, we honor her for doing the work that she's doing, because she is sharing a lot of that information freely, and we honor that. I didn't put that link in the chat. Wait a minute. Just a moment. Oops. One moment. I'm gonna put you out. Yep, I sure am. Just a moment. Let me get there. They might have ran out before I had a chance to put them out. Someone pretending to be light when they're really darkness. There it is. Fake. Islam. So with that being stated, and then there's a...
You've done just as you were commanded. Good job, my faithful servant.
You're out too. So again, as we're watching the other empresses and things out there who they know their stuff and they will to prosper. That's the thing that I love about the link, and I'll put it in there once more. It's the same link. We just put it in there again. Was that the right link? No, that's not the right link. Oops. That's a link that I was going to give you later. Let's go back to that.
While you're doing that, Justice Tonis would like to get back in. He got booted out for some reason. I guess his system. So he's trying to get back in.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and put that Islam. Okay, there it is. So the Empress that's in the video, we'll just put a chat, gives a great breakdown of how you set things up with what Noble Phoenix brought up about the difference between the private piece, where you're handling the things around your domicile, and then the public piece, where things are being done for government and work and things of that nature. And the piece of, where you're, she says, not self-employed, but you're the founder or chief of your work, of your business. She gave a beautiful breakdown. It really, it helped me actually with that as well. Islam nobility.
So that should also apply to the eminent domain, the two trusts seats.
Say that again. It should apply to, you said, eminent domain?
Yeah, I'm sort of working on the eminent domain.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is I've created lien, levy, the whole steps, lien, levy, bond, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You court action on as well. And forgive the noise in the background. I'm in the restaurant again. Also, what's called a certificate of occupancy.
Yes.
That's part of the package I'm putting together on this eminent domain. 2 properties. So, and a few other little things I'm putting together as well. So what I did was I pulled down the warranty deed. Mm-hmm. I received both warranty deeds on both properties. Mm-hmm. I changed it to a trustee.
Yes.
That's the verbiage I used. So I shared that with a few people so far. We chatted about it, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress, as we say.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Noble Howard. As I was watching the video that I just put the link in the chat of the sister who's the Esquire, they're doing as much paperwork as we are. If you really, and not as much, and not to the level that we are simply because of our sovereign status. However, she has gone to quote unquote law school to practice law, and we're not diminishing that. In fact, we honor what she's doing. But what we are stating is that they're continuing to do paperwork and having people fill out forms and this and that and the third. We already know what all of that means. So all we're doing is restating. Now we're looking at what they're doing and going, oh, we can restate that. We can restate this. It has to be restated because when she starts talking about how much they're taxed on their business receipts, I just about fell out of my seat when I heard how heavily they are taxed on their business receipts. But that's in alignment with what I heard. I was watching a video by the subject whose name is Warren Buffett, and in a recent video, he talked about how he's turning over the reins of Berkshire Hathaway to someone else whose last name is Abel, as in Cain and Abel. His last name is Abel, and that they expect the business to be taxed, anywhere from 23 to 43 or even up to 55% on their corporate intake.
Islam?
In
that regard, we have to remember that all of the taxes were supposed to be not on the living people and not on their labor, but on the businesses. That's the way this whole system was set up. If you ran a business, you're supposed to be taxed.
Yeah.
And so the taxes have converted the people into businesses and taxing them, but they don't know that they're businesses, and say they don't keep the receipts, and the taxes are heavy on the people because the people are not in their proper place, which is where, again, comes right back full circle to what? We proclaiming and being ourselves nationality. It all comes back to it. So when we get back to our proper person, all of that stuff kind of diminishes, goes away. Okay? But because we were not in the proper place, but the corporations are properly being taxed for being on our land doing commerce.
Well, and we have to think about that as we do business too.
Yes.
Is that our corporations will be, our companies will be taxed, our business will be taxed. We get to state what that tax is.
Which is different. They don't get to do that.
We get to state what our tax is. Say that again, Nobility.
Yeah, we can do that, but they cannot.
Mm-mm.
All right?
Mm-mm.
But now then the question becomes, this is a future discussion, but then the question will be, because we've nationalized all these companies, those are our companies in our trust, how much are we going to tax them? Ourselves, in other words.
I keep hearing 2%.
Yeah.
I keep hearing 2%.
And think about how much that's going to free up resources.
Yeah.
Okay. And accounting. And speaking of what Taj mentioned on Friday, he talked about the fact that Sister Nailia could not get a part for her refrigerator. It's only 2 or 3 years old. And the reason why is because the parts are coming from overseas, and the people overseas ain't taking no more fiat. So therefore, the part which they planned obsolescence in, which is almost everything that they made, they planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
So you can't get parts for them. Therefore, they're going to just be sitting a whole bunch of almost new stuff with minor things that need to be replaced, and they can't be replaced until they start accepting delirium.
That's why we must push forward, because here's the thing that I know will work. Is if people start sending delirium and their own written things where parts and services are concerned, and restate the part order, I can guarantee you they'll get the part. Restate the part order, restate the company that's sending it, and then send the delirium. I'm telling you. They were waiting for us. They were waiting for us. And see, now it's starting to affect the everyday lives of people, just in general, who can't get parts and services because of the fiat piece. So,
and you have no proof of that whatsoever.
So we must continue doing what we're doing. Everybody everywhere is stating that.
Why did Shaja pay $300?
That you can't get parts because they're not accepting the fiat. You can't.
Aisha paid fiat to get.
Why do they keep trying to butt in and speak up for fiat when they don't even, they can't even use it? Why? Why do they keep coming in
fiat
on
is
that
alive
part?
and well. That's why.
Only in your dreams. So with that being stated, we must keep going. We're just going to keep going. We're going to keep sending Morris Sovereign Delarium gold receipts out. Morris Sovereign Delarium is a gold receipt. It's a receipt for gold we have in our inventory. And all we're doing is circulating the receipts, but the receipts still belong to us. Even after
You're the one that's dreaming.
Even after we give them out, they still belong to us. Just like that fiat in the previous enactment, they were acting like, people thought the fiat was theirs, and now that fake system is showing them that fiat is not theirs. It's not theirs. It's not theirs. So even after we give the receipts out, they're still ours. They still belong to us. So, let's just keep moving forward, because as we take 2-3 steps forward, that fake enactment and all that theater takes 10, 15, 30 steps backward. So we're getting to the point where we don't have to even prove that anymore. Because it's being stated all out there on the waves, the airwaves, and the waterways, and it's being stated out there.
Islam.
Islam nobility.
Real quick, I'm just going to add to this. The boxer, what's it called? Mayweather?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Did everybody hear about? He's in Dubai. He cannot even get here because they won't accept his fiat.
Say it again, nobility.
He's in Dubai. He cannot leave Dubai because they won't accept the fiat. That's news.
That's the only way that you can get some of them to wake up, is stop them in their tracks. Don't give them what they're wanting, and then let them figure it out. Now think about it. Mayweather was supposedly he used, there's plenty of videos out there of him making it rain with all that fake stuff. And now stuck. And we're not celebrating that our brother is stuck. What we are celebrating though is that we have the remedy. And all he has to do is look up, just like Moses was saying to the children of Israel who were being bitten by serpents. Just look up at this serpent, and you'll be the real serpent, which is the medical symbol, and you'll be healed. And some of them didn't even want to look up. They were so hard-headed and stubborn. They were so stuck in their pain that they wouldn't just look up. And the ones who looked up were healed. It's that simple. Islam Justice Dumois.
Won't the same thing happen with the athletes?
Yes. It's already happening. Those ones that people thought had tons and tons, many of them have already found out that they don't have a dime. I could name some names and you all would be in shock that those ones that you see on TV, that you were seeing.
You're delusional dreaming.
TV,
you're delusional dreaming.
Those ones that you would see on TV don't have anything. They had fiat, they had tons of it, and people thought that they would always have. They thought that they were set for generations with that stuff.
I used to use it every day. I used to still using fiat every day. Every day.
But they weren't set. They thought they were set, but they weren't. So, just one moment. Islam nobility.
I just put the link in there for the Floyd Mayweather because they're holding him in Dubai over debt that he owes.
Phoenix.
Remember, he
Let me get them out of here.
Yeah, please do, because
the hate, the hate is real.
Hate. Every time I open my mouth, they just gotta hate, and you too. But that's okay, because they know we speaking truth, and they want to slow us down. But it ain't working. Anyway,
where's your conveyances,
the point was that Floyd Mayweather is being held because he owes some money over there. All right? And guess what? He always carries $100 million in cash with him. He be flashing that cash. Well, if you flashing that cash and you owe $30,000 or $50,000, that should be no problem, right? So obviously they're not taking that cash.
They're not taking it. And you know what? We're not even mad at our brother. In fact, we send him high honors and high energy to get him out of that situation.
Indeed.
That he declare his nationality. It's the system that's not recognizing that stuff anymore. See, person would have kept going had we not stood, but we always will.
You don't have it, so you can't.
We always will stand. We always will stand. Our money, the system is recognizing our money, not fake fiat. I'm telling you, because it's time. I recently, in the spirit realm, the ancestors, and they actually sent it into this dimension, the word complete. The word complete flashed literally in front of us. And that was just in the last 2 weeks. Complete meaning we've completed the laying the foundation. Now let's move to possession. And again, it's the systems. It's systems. Just one moment. Let me make sure I get back to our page on the screen. It's the systems. Our system, we've done the work, all of us. And now we have the authority and the power to assist our brothers and sisters. So with that being stated, that is what all of the processes was for, Morris. Remember, there were some who were, just one or two, who were stating, or not stating, they were saying and cackling that every week there's a new process. She just keeps leading you forward with a new process. No, we know processes. We know our system. We know how to set our system up. And when I say we, that was all of us working together for that. And now there are more processes, but those processes, they're easy because we laid the foundation. It's just a piece of cake. It won't take us any time to do the things we're doing next. It's a matter of claiming and possessing. Claim, possess, claim, possess. And then utilize it to go get our brothers and sisters and increase and enlarge the empire, because that's really what this is all about. With that being stated, the great wealth and estate that was meant to be ours has always been waiting for us and is here now. What was never ours, such as debt and foreign fiction, is starting to flee from us like a reverse plague. Is starting to flee from us. And let me say this about the fleeing piece. We've been experiencing some of that recently, and if you don't know what you're looking at when those dead fiction things start fleeing, it might scare you. But when you know what you're looking at, it won't scare you. You'll rejoice. You'll rejoice. I'll give an example of that. When the U.S.A.A. bank account, when that thing, when the fake one, when that corporate corpse, dead corpse was lifted off the account, I couldn't access it for a while. And so I couldn't even, there's some things I could not do that I was accustomed to doing regularly because I had restated the account. But when you restate it and then you demonstrate it competently, the fake corpse piece will lift off. And it will look like, it looks like one thing, but it's not. It'll look like you're locked out of it, but you're really not. You just have to wait just a little while, and you, of course, stay calm and just wait. And just like we told you that happened once before when we did the court action on the social and the nom de guerre. We did a court action on January the 1st, 2020, I believe it. Yeah, it was 2020. We did a court action on that nom de guerre and that social, quote unquote, social security number as issued by the frauds, not our state security number, which is the same sequence of numbers, but a different set of numbers. And when we did that, the account locked for, I think it was like about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and then we started seeing access come back slowly but surely. And it came back really in phases, like you could see part of it, but the other parts you couldn't see. It's like it was being reorganized. You couldn't, and then there were some things that weren't there before that we had never looked at that were there afterwards. Like we had access to the emails and to the original number. Because as you all know, when a bank account was being issued, quote unquote, in the last era, in that previous era, when the bank accounts were issued, it would be issued under one primary number, but the numbers that you used all the time they would give you 2 different sub numbers for checking and savings. And then they would use the primary number and keep that from you. You couldn't see it when you signed on. You would have to know where to go to find it. And we were able to see that. Islam Nobility. We're open for Brother Love. And so those kinds of things happen. And again, I would suggest to you not to freak out when things like that happen, because the ancestors always keep us they ensure that we have what we need during that time period. And sometimes it's minimized. For example, before the account, this time, before we did the demonstration, we would go to the grocery stores and things of that nature, as long as we, again, did things the way that we do them, which is restating everything. We would go to the grocery stores and things, but we couldn't do that for a while. So we had to use the things around us in order to do that. And that's why I say for some people that would be a fearful situation for them. I just know that our ancestors will take care of us no matter what. And so I just said, okay, ancestors, I see what has happened here in the removal, because I knew it was a removal of the corpse, quote unquote, energy. But the ancestors have made sure that we have everything we will to have and that we need during this time period, just one moment. Let me make sure that, just a moment. And so during this time period, we have really, our ancestors made sure that we had everything, just the basics of everything. And again, these demonstrations that we're doing are not for everyone at that time. It's just going to be, when it's time for people to demonstrate certain things, they'll be able to demonstrate them. You'll be able to demonstrate them. So the ancestors will not take you any faster, and they will never put anything on you that you cannot handle. They will never do that. Why? Because you're actually calling forth your test. And so, we went out, and whenever we willed to have salad, we went out and got dandelions out, and the leaves and things, the dandelion leaves, which we absolutely love anyway. And then we got the opportunity to do some research on other plants that we could take and consume. And most of them most of the things that they call weeds, we're able to actually make some delicious salads with those. And then we put some things that we had here already, we put those things with it, and we've been every day just doing well in terms of what we consume. Our health has gotten better. And it wasn't bad before. We just carried a few little pounds that we will to get to drop, to leave in the previous era, and they're gone. So, it's those types of things that when it's time, if that is a test, then it will be a test for you. But for some, they could do that with their eyes closed. It would be nothing for them. And so our ancestors know what they're doing with each and every one of us. We're not going to sugarcoat and tell you that it's all lollipops and glitter and unicorns and skipping through the roses. It's some testing sometimes. However, there's never going to be a test that we can't pass. Never. Ever, ever. And it's all for our estate. Speaking of estate, our focus is on our present happiness. So as we're going through, as we're rising, and the debt is fleeing from us, and the fictitiousness is fleeing from us. Our focus is our present happiness. So we don't have to keep waiting to be happy. We can be happy right now, every day. We can be happy. We can stay in the moment. Meanwhile, we can also keep moving, keep rising, keep nation building, and keep prospering. That's important. That's very important. Our wealth is here. It's always been here waiting for us. So the ancestors had us to uncover and activate the proper foundation for receiving our inheritance. It's a system. It's a foundation. The foundation was laid by our ancestors, so our foundation is solid, it's natural, it's eternal, and it contains the wealth for all nations, for all time, for all generations. No matter what the wealth is, it is contained in our foundation. The proper foundation for the wealth system always begins with proper identification of the parties, which is nationality. We will to make that statement on the record, for the record, and letting the sovereign public record know that no matter what processes and no matter how well you do them, you must be yourself. You must proclaim your nationality on the record so that those processes are effective for you. So that you're not trying to run around in a debtor system, collecting more debt instead of collecting the trust and credits and wealth and inheritance and prosperity that is already yours. Our nationality automatically states proper jurisdiction for all matters before any subject matter can be discussed. So before you can talk about money, before you can talk about investments, before you can talk about generational wealth, Who are you is going to be what the system wants to know. That way you'll be directed to the right place. Your documents will be directed to the right place. Now that we have established our lawful dominion, we can state the legal system and restate the concepts. And we've already done that. The concepts from the previous era have been restated, and we are going to continue to do that to prosper by proper government of wealth. Receiving of our inheritance requires study, demonstration, lab work, and competence. As we study the processes for our systems, such as our travel system, and we'll just use that as an example, the travel system, the ancestors made it clear to us that we must study to travel as state heads, and this is, we talked about we were willing to travel from the very beginning, really, but we see now why the ancestors said, if you would just sit still for a while and let us show you the estate and the proper way to travel, because we do not travel the way common folk travel. We don't. We do not travel the way common folk travel. I'm telling you now, just so that you're aware. And that takes a little bit of study and knowing first that your documents must precede you before you go anywhere. And it will become like second nature. It'll be so quick for you to put those documents together, because most of them we already have together, especially with the 40 documents that we put on the public record. We are heads, and some call it heads of state. We're state heads. We're ecclesiastical chief justices and universal government process leaders. We don't lead people, we lead processes. First in our own estate, and then we assist others as well. That type of travel creates expectation of your arrival before you appear. And we don't expect, well, I can't say we don't expect the red carpet to be rolled out, because we roll it out for ourselves before we get there. But our documents will create the expectation, and then we will be received as state heads should be. The diplomacy, the competence, divinity, and nobility within us saturate the processes and thus saturate our travel experience. So even as recent as today, I was listening to someone talking about, it was a modern European, previously doing business or a subject in the office of minister, preacher, talking about how he had gone to Poland and a couple of other European places, quote unquote, and he was telling the people it just very plainly that everything has changed, and that the way travel is being done is different, and that it's just a good idea when they travel just to be quiet and let things be what they are, so that you can get through, even if you have to wait hours and hours and hours, like 3 hours or so, or 4 hours. And here's the thing that he said that I should have known it, and I'm sure we know it in the great mind, but it didn't really even click until he said something, that when he went to Poland and these other places that he went to, Poland and Ireland and one other place, they had to get in through immigration. They had to wait in immigration lines just to get in to visit for a week or two. And those lines were super long and filled with people trying to get in to different places. Because even the documentation, and these are my words, even the documentation, things such as quote unquote U.S. passports, it's getting harder because the system is not recognizing that stuff as willingly. He was even saying that this subject in the office of minister was even saying that, 5 or 10 years ago, he would be able to talk his way through any line and be up at the front and be up at the head, because he could talk so well about who he is or whatever they say. And, he said, don't do that. Be quiet and just wait in line if you have to wait in line so that you can get through, because you may not get through immigration. So, and this is one who previously was supposedly wealthy and had hundreds of acres of land in the family and things of that nature. And we'll probably put a link in the chat to that, but I don't really care to push those types of videos. Those are things that we see and we watch, we hear, because we know they're going to tell the truth about what's really happening, but they are not going to announce that to us. They're going to announce that to others who are like them, So it's just interesting. They're telling the truth now about who they really are. And here's the thing. That particular subject in the office of minister, wherever he goes, he always takes one of us with him. There's this one that's been accompanying him wherever he goes in all these quote-unquote countries. He makes sure he takes that one sleep more with him everywhere, because he knows what time it is. He knows what time it is. So if you will to see that kind of thing, just go out onto YouTube, Morris, and tune into the spirit realm, and then just start Googling some terms that come to you, such as how has travel changed for Europeans, just or for U.S. passport holders. Let's put it that way, because it's not really about faces as much as it is about the system. Not about faces, and it's about the system. And see all of the issues and problems that's coming up. Can't open bank accounts in other places with that thing, whereas you used to be able to open bank accounts in other quote-unquote countries, bank accounts with a passport, a U.S. passport. Can't do that anymore. Someone, Empress Sabra, put something in the chat. She said, look up expats or expatriates and issues that they're having and how they're being, I might as well say the word, hunted and deported. Hunted and deported. Whereas they used to go and flash that fiat and be able to get whatever and do whatever and be whatever and have better and live better than the indigenous people who've always been there, because they had fiat. Those people moved and called themselves, those persons moved and called themselves quote unquote expats, because they used to go to other places and just take over and drink all the best wine and eat all the best food and live in the best places for a little or nothing, because it was fiat. Not anymore. So we hear quite a few of those stories from them as things wind down in that funny mirror. We hear quite a few of them. The ancestors never fail to show us and bring forth what the results of the work that we've been doing. And again, we're not doing work to inconvenience anyone. We're just the land and the law is the priority, top priority. Every land is ours, and all land must be in alignment with the law. because the land is the law. So let that be an awareness for the Moors, whether you're sleeping or awake. The fiat piece is out of here. And we're putting a little extra energy on that because, you know, people have been, you know, we took a little bit of heat for Delarium, and we knew that the time would come where things would be cut off and people wouldn't be able to get and move about like they thought they could with that fiat. And we're just talking about everyone in general. One thing we know about our ancestors is that as we are putting these things on the record, you know, a lot of times that thing, the changes happen for us first. Then we don't get fearful. We just look at it and we say, okay, ancestors, we know you're saying something to us about this. What does this mean? And it's always in our favor. And they're saying, okay, now move forward. Keep doing what you're doing. Demonstrate more with your money, with your Delarium. Move forward with it. Keep going. Keep demonstrating. And we're doing just that. And again, as we continue to do that, the theater is done. The system that we've created is now available. Now, Moors, you all should be so proud of yourselves, because I really will to just drive this into your truth center. Do you realize that we have created a system and really just uncovered our ancient system that our heirs will be using? They won't ever have to be enslaved. Our heirs will be able to use this financial system that we've created, that we've restated and put on the record. And they are the actual justices and courts for their own system. Our heirs actually can hold money with faces that look like theirs. Our own travel systems are part and parcel of the wealth governance system that we created for us and for them. Our vision has produced provision for our heirs and for generations to come, for the next eternities. We have manifested the law for use, also known as Lamarckism inheritance. So we will to introduce a principle. It's called, and they would call it the law of use, and some call it the law of use and disuse. We actually call it customs and usage at the sovereign level, at the red ink level. It's customs and usage. At the commercial level, it's the law for use for us, also known as Lamarckism inheritance. Lamarckism inheritance for us, and we'll just take a look at it, was mentioned by our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but he didn't call it Lamarckism inheritance. And what it is he said, don't throw away your names because you have an estate there. He was always pointing to restating, just like what is stated in chapter 2 of the Circle 7, the Holy Quran for the Moorish Holy Temple for Science, chapter 2. I believe it's verses 14 and 15, or maybe 24 and 25, somewhere in there, verse in chapter 2, about those who would come, and it says one who would come and look in the books and rewrite, restate what is said. And the book didn't use the word restate. I'll have to pull up my Holy Quran, and the exact words are there, but you can look it up, chapter 2, about restating everything. And so Lamarckism inheritance for us, and from as we define it, is that in the past, We did not use a legal system to access things. You know, before the modern ones, before we introduced the modern ones to our land, we did not use a legal system. We used lawful systems, and we still do, of course. That's the basis for our legal system, is the lawful system. We just went out onto the land and pulled and did and things of that nature. But then as aliens and foreigners came to the land, as we introduced them to the land, we had to have a system whereby peace could be maintained while those who are competent to govern can access the good of the land, the fat of the land, the fruits of the land in an orderly, non-chaotic, peaceful manner. So let's just take a quick look at Lamarckism really quickly, because it is a principle that we will to introduce. It's really just stating what's always been stated. It's just putting words to what we're doing for those who will to know that. Just one moment. Let me put this link in the chat also for. So where Lamarckism is concerned, you could call it the mark, because the mark is the root word for Lamarckism. Lamarckism inheritance is and they say it's a notion because it is a notion until we define it properly, that an organism can pass on to its offspring physical or 3D characteristics that the parent organism acquired through use or disuse during its lifetime. So it is also called the inheritance of acquired characteristics, or more recently, soft inheritance. So what this process is talking about, again, we did not use a legal system to access our land in times past. We used a lawful system, and we stated our nationality, and there was carte blanche to just go out and do whatever we willed to do. Well, when foreigners came on the land, the foreigners could not do that. They couldn't just go out and pull and start drilling for oil and drilling for this and that and picking from the trees and living in the, on the land and eating on the land and building things up without our permission. That is not how this works. So we insisted that a legal system be put in place that everyone could access, but you still at the base and the foundation of that system, proper identity had to be known. And that's where things like non-driver IDs, driver licenses, social security, birth certificate, visas, green cards, everyone had to be properly identified. And the legal system would do that. Because, again, the legal system is a way to access our own estate in an orderly manner so that we're not fighting with each other about things. And then the legal system is and was always to be governed by us because it's our estate. Always to be governed by us, our courts, always. And that is why it was so important. And I will tell you, if there's one thing I'm really proud of, it's that our courts are active earthwide and worldwide. Our courts are active. So, again, by our use of a legal system, our heirs can access things through the legal system also. See, at one point in the past, the legal system, quote unquote, wasn't producing anything that we even wanted or willed to have, rather. It wasn't producing anything. We had everything. Everything. But then when it came to properties and things like that, energies, when foreign energies came onto the land, that's when, quote unquote, war was enacted. Because people began fighting over things, namely or mainly our estate when it's not even theirs. And so it took this sleeping time that we've come out of, that we've awakened from. It took that time for us to watch the legal system, quote, the actors, because it's not a real system for them, they're actors. We watched them act that system out, and then we said, okay, we know how to do that. Because we created it in the first place, really. So our ancestors said, okay, the Moors that are birthed in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s and 2010s and 20s and 30s and so on, they will restate everything so that they govern it and properly claim it. I was looking at the hadith of Prophet Noble Jew Ali today, early, the oral statements it's said that he stated. And he did say that in the 2000s, the Moors would come into their own. And so we are happy to be a part of the manifestation of that prophecy for our heirs and for each other, because we've done that for each other. And so this system that we've created, we voted on it, we did the study, did the demonstrations, wrote the law, and all of that system that we've created, our heirs can now use it 3D in this dimension and not have to worry about being captured and not have to worry about being killed, decapitated, because it's our system. Because our heirs are competent and because we are competent because of our system, peace has come. Peace is here. What I find ironic, though, is that we're stating that we are at peace because we are peace. Meanwhile, in the funny mirror, they're saying, "Oh no, we're at war," and I just keep thinking, you all, but I thought everything was already at war in the last era, in that enactment. But to them, that was peace. While we were sleeping in our enactment, and they didn't have to fight with us over who was the head and who was the tail. We were asleep. We didn't know that we were the actual head of everything. But to them, that was peaceful. And now they're saying they're at war, and the U.S. U.S. is at war. And we're saying we're at peace because we're the head of our own estate and of everything. And when I say we, I mean all Moors, all original indigenous ancient bloodline people. Islam, Empress.
For some reason, I keep when I hear the word remark, I hear the word birthmark.
Yeah.
And because it also says, and it's the notion that an organism can pass on to its offspring. And when I was beginning learning about more science, I remember hearing how if you had chattel, you would brand it, which would be creating a birthmark or a mark on your possessions. And when you take your nationality and you put your flags and things on your vessel, you take on a mark. And that is what you, well, not a mark in that regard, it's an emblem,
it's actually stating what you were born with, the mark that you were born with. So you're right. You're right. I just will to clarify that piece. It is a mark. It's one that's in our blood. We're born with it instead of having it put on us or branded on us after we come out of the womb. You know. Yeah. Yes, you're right, Empress.
Gratitude. So yes, you pass it down.
Yeah.
You know, it's already given.
Yes.
So this is just another way of stating what we already have naturally.
Yes, and the systems that we use, although the system is seemingly outside of us, is really not outside of us because we created it. It came from us.
Yeah, hence the birthmark.
Yes,
the birth mark.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to put that. That's a beautiful way to put that, a birthmark. And see, a birthmark is so different from a mark of the beast. It's so different. It is not the same thing.
No.
We're born gods. We're gods at conception. We're gods before we even get here, before we're even conceived or preceived or inceived. Inceived, inception. Inceived really is a word in our dictionary.
Because that's inconceivable, so it should be conceivable. Yes.
So, yes, Chief Justice Nawe says, when we were birthed into this realm, we marked this earth with the energy. Yes. 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 Yes, indeed. So we willed to bring that principle forth, particularly regarding our system that we've created, and aligned it with the ancient system that our ancestors gave us and put in place for us. Just one moment. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali stated again that to keep the names, because we have an estate, those names must be restated, because our sovereign-born appellations that our sovereign mother gave us when she birthed us, that is an estate as well that we must govern. As we accept our inheritance, we must always remember that we are God first. We are sovereign and we have dominion over the earth at all times. Our systems are dominion with order. In other words, the reason that we create, a certificate of registration for our cars, for our conveyances, we create that for our conveyances because it is recognized by our legal system that we've created, that we've called forth. And that way, when things happen, for example, if we will to bequeath our conveyance to someone else, we can do that and there not be any hindrance to proper statement of that. That's what a legal system does, is it properly states the things that are in this dimension. See, lawfully, we're properly stated universally and anciently by bloodline and birthright. Legally, though, because we choose to do commerce and things of that nature, we will to have a legal system that honors the commerce. So as we continue to state that properly and continue to put the processes forth.
Recording has started.
Our system was waiting for us to state it. That's all. It was waiting for us so that we could get the conveyances and domiciles and things like that, and not have any sin in our lives about that. What is sin? Sin is using foreign, fictitious persons to obtain things. That's what sin is. There is no other sin than that. Is attempting to exist in a dead state. Fictions is debt. That is debt. That's how debt is conveyed, is by a fictitious entity. So yes, Chief Justice Roslyn, sin is also debt. You and I are absolutely stating the same thing. We will have no other gods before us. And see, for some, they were using that quote-unquote legal fiction and holding it sacred as if it was them and wanting to hold on to it because it got them a new car last year or some craziness. That's sin. That's sin. It is yes, Empress Rosalind, now you know you bringing the word. She says it's transgression of the law. Yes, and who is the law? We are. We are. So one thing we will not do is continue to transgress the law. We won't do that. Islam. Just a moment. Let me get rid of that. Yeah. And so for us, we see the debt fleeing quickly. It's leaving. And we also see those same, it looks like the same stuff coming back to us, but it's actually new. Where cell phones and conveyances and things of that nature.
Well, let's have your new number, Pauline. Let's have the number of your new cell phone, Pauline.
Wouldn't they just love that? No, because they're dead. So we don't even, they couldn't call us anyway.
A new one.
So all of that stuff comes back to us. All of it comes back.
Same as the last era. No.
They don't want to hear it. They don't like that. It's okay. We love you. And so all of that comes back and more. Everything comes back to us better, far better than before. So are there any questions, comments, wisdom regarding anything that we stated? Are there any testaments or anything of that nature?
Islam.
Islam, nobility.
Yes, Empress, if I may ask a question. Me and a couple Congress members in the Illinois territories, we got a question about the levy part of the lien, levy and bond process when considering the city hall, tax collectors. Same process is if it's a general business or, when I say the same process is, I know when I lien or levy or try and give a merchant card to a Kroger's or someplace like that is one thing, but what about the tax collector or the city hall situation?
Well, what are they collecting? Are they collecting fiat?
Well, they claim to be. Well, yes, of course.
So then you already know what the process is. They can't do that.
Yeah, but the levy, can you
That's what the levy is. That's exactly what the levy is. The levy is us possessing whatever the property is. What we're stating. See the difference between a lien and a levy. A lien is saying that property is taxed. That any commerce on that property is taxed, if it's especially foreign commerce. But then the levy says, we know you can't pay because you don't have any gold and silver. So we're just going to go ahead and take that. It's the Fifth Amendment takings clause that the levies is one of the principles that the levies are based on. So the levy just says it's that because you can't pay the lien, because due process is you place the lien on the public record, and then you give them time to pay. Well, we know they can't pay. We know that they don't have any gold. All gold belongs to us. All silver belongs to us, and they certainly don't have $100 million in gold for each more, and for each property that they were proclaiming to occupy. So then you know, by nature we've waited and waited for them to pay, and we knew they couldn't. So then the levy says, okay, we'll go ahead. Because you did not pay, the property has been conveyed to us. Now, we know that they never really owned it in the first place, so it's really going back to the original. But see, we must address that 1/10. They say possession is 9/10 of the law. Have you heard that statement before?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we must address that part. And so that's what the levy addresses. The levy speaks to that 9/10 being possession. That is the lawful. Because see, we don't just walk up and snatch things. We use the processes and the system to possess it. To state, see what the levy is doing also. Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. It's preparing the way so that when you create the document that says that this property is conveyed at the county level, because you know the quote unquote tax assessor has these deeds that they record, and I won't say they. Let's just say us. Our county offices record deeds. The levy is preparation so that the deed cannot be rebutted by anyone that was previously claiming the property. So it's just preparing the way for your coming. It's preparing the way for your arrival at the property.
So basically just the same thing, this lien, levy, and bond, the city, just like in all branches of the municipality, just like any private corporation.
Yes. Except you don't give them any titles. They're not the city. That's why you can bond and lien and levy, because that's not who that is. They're not city. They're not judges. They're not any of that. They have no titles except subject.
Thank you.
Islam, that's a beautiful question and a beautiful demonstration. See, by the time you get to create, by the time in our processes that we get to the county level of creating the deed, everything else will have been done. There will be no adversaries to what you're stating. There will be nobody. That's why I stated what I stated when I showed you the deed 2 Congresses ago. We don't have anybody that we're buying property from. Everything's been lien, levied, and bonded. We possess it already by the time the lien, levy, and bond process is done. Debtors can't own property, and nor do we have to buy property from debtors. So by the time you create the deed to the property, and again, we know we have a allodial title up here that we create. The allodial title is created when those red affidavits come through. That's when a allodial title is created. Then you move to the legal system that we've created and you restate the deed. Now, let me say this about the deed. When we looked at the records for, not the records because they're not real records, the drafts, the enactments of records for King County, quote unquote, we saw so many different types of enactments of deeds. There were trust deeds, there were supposedly trust deeds, there were deeds,
special warranty deed.
Yes, all of that. Thank you, Justice Howard. That's what I was trying to think of. Just there were deeds where people said this is a deed that is a gift, a love gift of trust and interest. There were
claim deeds.
What deed, Empress?
Claim deeds.
Claim deeds. There were sheriff deeds. There were quit claim deeds. There were just so many different types of deeds. There were. I just thought, a sheriff's deed. The sheriff's deed that I saw, and again, it was an enactment, but I was thinking to myself, who gave them the authority to start taking property and running around doing things? It wasn't even a corporation, as it were, who would have. The process should have been that a corporation sent the sheriff to take the property. This wasn't even the case. The corporation wasn't even in the picture. The sheriff just decided to take a property. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then that actor who was acting as sheriff turned around and sold the property to another corporation. And I'm like, well, I wonder what he did with the so-called quote-unquote money. Because how do you do that? You the sheriff, you just decided that somebody hadn't paid their bills and you're going to go take their property and you sell it and produce a sheriff's deed for the record. And you sell it for $200,000 or $300,000 or whatever to some corporation in New York so that nobody knows what happened until they look at the record.
Islam, I believe that's called unjust enrichment. Category, unjust enrichment. Look that up, anybody who don't know what it is.
Yes, that's unjust enrichment. And the root word being rich. So, I saw so many different types of deeds. So the ancestors. As I was putting the record, doing the process and putting it on the record, I said, well, ancestors, what type of deed should this be? And my first thought was to make it an original indigenous deed, but the ancestors said, no, that's the high level up there where the allodial title is. So make it a legal deed for your legal system that you created, that we've all created, and have it be a United States land deed, which cannot be rebutted. A United States land deed. And again, it's spelled all the way out, and it's the ancient states united. So we're not talking about any fraudulent debtors. We're the real United States. Everybody knows that. We've always been the head of commerce in that manner. They just turned the flag around backwards and revised.
Islam. Quick. So when the brother was asking about the levy, and you went in great length when explaining that, and you mentioned the takings clause with the levy, and then just now you mentioned the deed, the United States deed, that also goes into eminent domain, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's constitutional.
Well, that's also the takings clause.
Yes. that is how we stay in alignment all the way from the lawful process to the legal process. We stay in line with the Constitution and we enforce the Constitution that way. That's how we just keep the paperwork in alignment and accordance with that same clause in the Constitution.
And also, I had asked Brother Noble Phoenix about bonds and such, and he had mentioned, look up the universal commercial bonding, and so we got into that over here, and it was talking about the importance of spelling out the definitions and not leaving ambiguity, because when you do leave ambiguity, that makes room for chaos and like ability to sue in this case of injury, and because of not having clarity. And so also laws and because they were talking about statutes and codes being bonded for that purpose, for offices to do their job, like the offices of sheriff and the offices of judges and the offices of policies enforcers and such, for bonding. So I was also, because I was like, okay, activation of these laws and such, I was like, from that perspective, defining the words and also bonding. But yeah, when you bond, I guess the ones in the office, bond the office and bond the corporation, does that also include the law, or you have to actually bond the law? Yes, this is the one that Justice Nate and I was looking at, yes.
You're the law already who's creating the bond, so it's already inherent in what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to bond the law. You just bond. You just issue the bond. The law must issue the bond, and when the law issues the bond, those things that creates that unbreakable trust circle that cannot be penetrated.
All right. So I'm just focused on perfecting and getting things, solidified, because I'm always like, I mentioned myself, okay, what could possibly be next to make these things, more tangible and manifested and visibility, and such.
Yes. Empress, let me tell you, where that is concerned, because we were also, saying, okay, ancestors, it's time to start seeing some things manifest, they made it so clear to me, especially over the last 30-something days, 33 days. It has been made clear to me that our system is ready for us to manifest, because we have to actually still do that too. That's still, everything manifesting is still on us. And now all we have to do is activate the buttons of the system that we created. Activate the button, activate the mechanism by which the system works. That's it. Yes,
Empress Navi would like to get in again. She keeps getting, I guess it's her internet.
It's more. Empress Chief Justice Nawe says, there is no thing that can withstand God. Yes, indeed, we affirm that with all power and authority. We affirm that. Yes. We were ready. We were so ready. But the ancestors said, just be patient, light. Just be patient. Keep doing what we've inspired you to do from within you. And that goes for all of us. Just keep doing what the ancestors are inspiring you to do from within you. And let's keep meeting and coming together. Speaking of which, we were going to take a vote, or at least discuss maybe meeting a little less frequently. I will state that, again, things are speeding up and picking up very fast and very quickly. So it is important that we do meet. However, is everyone okay for right now with meeting once a week instead of twice a week?
Islam.
Islam?
Yes.
I was going
to.
Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Prince.
I was going to say, you know what? For right now, because of the speed at which things are coming to us,
yeah,
I would recommend we leave things exactly as they are. And for those of us who perhaps wish to consult with each other, form some smaller groups where we all have an opportunity to come together and discuss the things that we're discussing on the bigger call if you feel the need to expound. But for right now, I think the wise thing for us to do is keep things as they
Your
are.
kids have worked for 7 years and it ain't happening now. So why?
Wow. See what I mean? Anyway, I think that's the wise thing to do because we're on a pace. We don't want to slow the
never going to get no conveyances of Negro
expense, the way it's coming out right now. So I would recommend to the Congress to seriously consider leaving it as it is.
Come on, Negro. Let's go to that dealership, Negro.
With additional groups or then form a smaller mind tank like I've done, okay? And y'all discuss the details of what you specifically need. That way you can address your concern with a larger audience than just yourself, consult with others, and work out the details. And then your spirit will help y'all to continue to make progress, and it will be synchronous with the larger group, because it always is. Everything we discuss in our individual calls that we have finds its way right back to the congressional call or vice versa, every time.
Because we're on one accord.
Because we're all on one accord. So with that, keep it as it is, Islam.
I am so surprised to hear you say that, Noble Phoenix. I am.
I know, but you know what? I had time to think about it.
Because he's desperate.
Thinking about it, I determined, I said, you know what? In all honesty, because we all have to come in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, right? So with all truth and all honesty, I had to say, you know what? This is beneficial. I appreciate the break we just had because it gave me time to catch up. But if we only met once a week, more people are going to fall behind, in my humble opinion, or not keep up as well. I'll put it that way. Not fall behind, but maybe not keep up as much. And I think the pace that we have is the right pace. It's the pulse of our nation that's being determined here. It's the heartbeat and the pulse of our nation. That's what I like. Islam.
Islam. I was going to say something, but he said exactly what I was going to say. So, but yeah, we have formed 2 extra groups, and these 2 extra round tables of groups, it's everybody's on different levels. Everybody's on different levels of this moving, this motion and activity, right? So we do reach back and we assist, or we lead, we provide information so they can pull it up. We also record our conferences. So we have advanced people. We have people who are kind of medium advanced. Those variations of movement. Living things move, dead things don't. So we are living. We're making a lot of, I'll just say it this way.
Yes, we are.
As Florida does its transition, said county, Hillsborough County, and because within Hillsborough County here, there's 21 quote-unquote cities. Then above us, of course, is Anna which people call Georgia. As you all know, Dawood was there, smashing it. Yeah. So this, meaning these are the energies that's being moved on the land. Court actions, liens, levies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now we're doing the eminent domain. So these are the patriarchs. Now the matriarchs are coming into our circle. So that means we're now a full bird with both wings. The Mayat, the justice, just Soleil, right?
No.
So
The matriarchs were actually first.
I'm just saying, okay?
I'm just messing with you, Noble Howard.
I know what you mean.
How you feel about the matriarchy and the patriarchy.
But unfortunately, you all failed. So now we have to take the rings, as Taj said, and Asir and others that know this. But anyway, we're now sharing the information back to the matriarchs. Is that better? Okay. Yes, we are. Yeah, I know you're in Washington State, but here it's a little bit different mindset here in this territory. So we're happy that, both birds have both wings in a circle. And we love it. Yes.
Islam.
So now we're in Mississippi, quote unquote, so-called territory, which that's not really a territory. But anyway, but for mental sake, that's where the energy is now. Okay.
Are you at Mississippi or are you still at Florida?
No, we're leaving. We're coming from what they call Florida up to Georgia, up to Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, because our energy is moving us in that direction.
Islam.
So yeah, I think we should keep it as it is, because again, as being said or suggest, you need to break off into your own table circles so you can resolve this, help and aid each other. That's what we're doing. And that's something you said yourself some months back. We're going to pick up speed, which we're doing, which we was already doing in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're on this thing. Believe me, we are. Mm-hmm. And we're saying to you on the call, you great, wonderful Moors, break off into your own inner circles, assist each other. That will expand the board, the chessboard. Because remember, in chess, the pieces right now for us is the paperwork. Those are actually pieces that we're moving on the planet, which is the board, the entire earthly board, Islam.
Islam.
Noble Phoenix, did you will to give the information for your meeting so that anyone who will to attend your meeting can attend as well?
No, I do not at this time.
We honor that.
Why not, Phoenix? I'd like to attend. I'd like to attend, Phoenix. Come on, Negro. I'd like to attend your meeting.
And number two, the call, we vet everyone on the call to see where they are. Because the newbies, this is not a newbie call. Okay? Someone who
it's not, if you said it's not a newbie call?
It's not a newbie call. It's not.
Okay.
It's an advanced call. But those who are advanced, been around it for a minute, proclaimed it, and are active. This is for active Moors. The same for the tire kickers and those who just want to sit and take withdrawals and make no deposit. That's not what this is about. Okay? So, no, this is not open to just everybody and anybody. We don't just admit anybody. So when you do get admission, if you ever do, it's because we honor what you've done because you are an active Moor, period. And I'm not being discriminatory or mean to anybody.
You're just a loser is what you are. You're just a fucking loser.
We gotta move at a pace for the advanced ones. And we're paving the way for those coming behind us, the newbies. We're clearing the path. We ain't got time to hold hands while we're clearing the path. Okay? So, like I said, I'm not being mean, but that's just the way we're moving.
Well, okay.
Islam.
Just one moment. Empress Aisha had something she was going to say.
I was just trying to find out if there's a few people in Michigan that had a group that I could become part of.
Is there anyone at Michigama territory that has a group? And Empress, you could always get with, because the groups meet online anyway, so you could always get with any of the other groups that are meeting, and meet with them because it's an online situation as well. They're not all at the same territory.
Oh, okay.
Islam nobility.
I concur with the previous narrative that was stated, so I won't be going down that line at this point. But I would encourage, and I'm looking now at the number of attendees. Typically, it's 63-ish, 50-ish, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of bodies in here, let's just say, a lot of minds that are in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to just simply emphasize as well the need for those to get into small clustered groups as well, because the benefit is way beyond what you even know. The sharing of minds, the sharing of information from multiple minds goes a long way in accelerating
Mm-hmm.
and perfecting the processes as you go along. So everybody out there, you're listening, I consider, or I should say I encourage you, continue. We've expressed this narrative before, but
Mm-hmm.
we want to encourage the same along the way. We're going to need that, especially now.
Yeah.
I yield.
Islam. I put on the screen the count from our previous, that was Thursday's Congress. The attendance is showing 210. So the numbers are never expressed properly. We've had upwards of 500 and 600 on the calls in attendance at Congress, and the system didn't always record everyone, or it didn't always show. So yes, I do see the 63 here as well. Anyone else? There was someone else who was going to make a statement. Another one of the emperors.
Islam. It was me. I took your advice on restating some literature, spiritual literature. Anyway, I chose that route because of the prophet. That's what he did. So I said that's probably where to start at. So I want to let you know. Took heed.
Thank you.
Islam.
Thank you so much for that, because it's necessary. Everything must be restated. Everything in black ink and either capital or any letters. If it's not written by you or someone that physically know, like we know each other on these calls in Congress. If it's not written by someone that you can literally just connect with, it has to be restated. Islam, nobility.
Islam. I'm under the impression that the low count of us is because they are counting us as 3/5 and not a whole person. Islam.
In reality, their system, quote unquote, was not really designed to record sovereign. That's our system that's designed to properly record sovereign. So they do what little bit they can do, and I will venture to state that even the numbers that we see is all them and not us, because they can't really record us. We have to restate our own numbers properly. So we know the numbers don't match what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. We know that. But we don't even, all numbers belong to us anyway, so we just keep moving. Islam Empress.
On Thursday, Empress had mentioned, I think it's Empress Angel, that mentioned that there were 6 steps to taking over a corporation. Could you point us in a direction where to find that information, or if you mention it here? And then, too, is there an example of a United States land deed to point us to?
Any deed from the tax assessor website that have been enacted and drafted out. And also two Congresses ago, I showed one on the screen. Yeah, 2 Congresses ago I did that. Yeah, it was 2 Congresses ago. So if you will to go back and review the footage, it'll be a blue and white document on the screen. So if you just go through the, through the video really quickly, you'll see the blue and white document flash up on the screen. You'll see it there. And it was up there for majority of the meeting.
Islam.
And also, just one moment, regarding her first question or her first statement about I just had it in my brain.
Islam. It was about the 8 steps to taking over a corporation.
Yeah.
I put the link in the chat that had referred to that.
Thank you, Empress.
It's like about an hour and maybe 10 minutes in.
Thank you.
Priceless. You're just priceless, Empress Angel.
Islam.
You are priceless. She just stays on top of things. I love that.
She's your backup.
No, she's not. She's right beside me.
She's your right hand woman then. How about that?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm her right hand woman.
What I was going to suggest, just to kind of backpedal a little bit, if everybody can hear me.
Islam.
For example, who have done court actions. Those who have not done court actions, connect with those who have done court actions. That way you can learn how to do a court action. Oh, lost connection here. Was I heard?
Yes.
Okay, this is a horrible Wi-Fi system. Mm-hmm.
It actually sounds clearer today than ever.
All right. So, yeah, that's a suggestion. Get into that type of group, and then you don't.
Oh, as soon as I said that.
Islam.
Islam.
It's not a good.
Yeah.
It's not good here.
Islam. Okay. So, is there anyone? Let's go ahead and do this. First, we didn't finish the part about how often we would meet. We heard from several, and it seems that that half said, let's continue things as they are. But then in the chat, there were some who agreed with just once a week. So we've not really come to a consensus on that yet, because it seems like it's half and half. Except we heard from more people who willed that it stay as is. So let's say we table that again until Thursday and think about it some more. And because I'm open to whatever the Congress agrees on in the majority. I'm open to whatever you agree on. Here's what I do know. Things are ramping up even faster now in our favor. And even if we only meet for 30 minutes or an hour, I'm feeling in my spirit that we just keep things as they are and at least meet to see how things are going, to check the processes, to improve the processes. We have the processes. Let's improve them. We have some demonstrations that we're demonstrating and putting together that we will to demonstrate it first and then tell you about how that demonstration turned out as well coming up here. So we're agreeable to either one, whatever you all agree, whatever we agree to in the majority.
Islam, Empress.
Islam, Empress Cynthia, and then Noble Akeem.
Empress Cynthia, Justice Cynthia Adbe, I affirm, and keeping the meetings twice a week.
Islam, thank you, Empress. And then Empress Noble Akeem.
No, the Empress can go first.
She did. She just stated that we keep the meetings the same.
Okay, Islam. I was thinking that we probably ain't gonna come up with a definite decision on this one, but I was thinking that maybe just spread the days out then, instead of, you know what I mean, like a Monday and a Sunday.
That's a suggestion that we can consider. However, what was actually being presented is to either continue having Thursday and Sunday, or to remove one of those days, or spread it out and have it once a month or twice a month or something of that nature. From what I'm hearing, as it stands right now, things are going to stay the same based on the people that we've heard from. And then we'll revisit this. Let's revisit it again, let's say in a month or next week or something like that. We'll just revisit it as necessary. Is that agreeable for the Congress?
Agreeable.
I agree. I agree.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Islam agrees.
I
agree.
What I affirm.
Islam.
Islam, I agree. Aisha, agree.
Thank you, and perception.
Islam.
Islam. Thank you. Islam.
This is a Sheba day from the land of Nod.
Islam.
Okay. Can you hear me? Empress?
Yes, we can
I'm
now.
not sure.
We can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you.
I do know I have a faulty system, and it's telling me that, okay, in respect to the 4 times, what's that? 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, that's 8 times a month, right?
Yes.
For the most part.
Yes.
Yeah, well, if we were to cut it down to twice a week or once a week, I think that would be sufficient. That would also give you a chance to regroup and do what you have to do. So then we need to consider that also. If we switch days, I know I wouldn't be able to keep up with it because I have other affairs that I'm involved in. So, yeah, I guess we have to consider all of that.
You know,
I yield.
I thank you for that, for thinking of us, Justice Akiba. We are called to do this work. And so for us, this is as natural as waking up in the daylight, at daylight time. This is as natural as breathing. Sometimes the demonstrations, the number of demonstrations, and the amount of time that it takes to prepare the demonstrations, at that, and because we've been going and doing that for 6+ years straight, we the breaks, we just take a break as necessary and then come back. And it's not really a break. We just pull back just a little bit and redirect our energy to the same work offline. So we're good with 2 times a week. We're good with 5 times a week, really. If the ancestors said, okay, you all need to meet 5 times a week, we would do it and not even blink. So thank you for considering us. The initial proposal was to either keep it as it is or meet, or remove one of the days from the week. And based on what you stated, the schedule staying as it is would work for you because of prior obligations. And then we appreciate you thinking about us. We're good with twice a week, and it's staying as it is right now also, because that's what I'm getting in the spirit, what I'm hearing from the Congress, because I'm gauging even those who are not speaking. I'm listening to in the spirit realm, because there's quite a few people on this in this Congress, and we've only heard from probably 10 or 12 or 15 of you, and so we just listen in the spirit realm for the others, and until they're ready to speak, until they're ready. I think twice a week for right now, and then we'll revisit it whenever you all feel to revisit it. I know that this change that we just went through, because there was a serious, thank you, nobility, there was a serious shift in the energy with the coming of the eclipse. And I just knew with that energy coming, because it was very strong for us, that we had to just pull back energetically. Just a little bit of noise coming from somewhere. We had to pull back energetically and just hear and just listen, because that was some very strong energy. So, we will take a break, as not a break. We'll take a breather, an additional breather as led by our spirit, and then we'll come right back at it, because we're going to continue. This is what we do. So,
Islam,
Empress.
Things really shifted for us as of that March 25th demonstration that we did. That was a very powerful demonstration, and it really elevated everything that we do. Islam.
Well, Empress, that demonstration was right after March 21st. The energies had shifted again in our favor on March 21st. So, our new year. So those are just powerful times to do things.
Islam, I affirm that, Empress. Every March, something significant occurs for us. Speaking for my clan, Islam.
Yeah. Well, they have a very powerful Empress there, so yeah, we expect that. Yeah.
Thank you, Empress. Islam.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we will meet again. It is in my heart and in my knower that it is so important for us to continue to meet this way until we can start meeting, because I know that that's coming soon. Us being able to meet face to face is coming soon. It's coming very soon. That's what this next set of information is manifesting. Is us meeting face to face, all of us. We see that already.
Islam,
Empress.
Empress Nabi desires to come in again, and she desires to say her testimony as well. Islam.
Thank you, Empress. It's unlocked. Yeah, I just know that things are shifting. Listen, that eclipse that just happened was the marker of what we've already done, and the timeline catching up to everything we stated. All of the laws we put on the public record are yay and amen. So, Empress Nabi, are you present?
Islam, I am.
Oh, there's
present.
our Empress! Yay! Islam, Empress.
It is Islam. It's time to share. Okay, I was going to on this cause. I was gonna take a minute to go ahead and work all of the documents out. but I'm going to go ahead and share. What's transpired is there was a violation of religious rights, nationality rights, with the Rosenberg Housing Authority, HUD, and Indian Affairs. It is being restated at the moment, but it is there on their website that shows that there has been a discrimination case based on national origin.
Ooh.
National, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's the system being taught what to say. The system has to be taught what to state. When proper, competent documentation is on the public record, the system will say what it's supposed to say. And not a moment before that. Oh, my word, have we experienced that? So, congratulations, Empress.
Gratitude. And this is for all of us.
Yeah, Islam.
Islam.
Empress Nabi, did you file this case yourself?
Islam, indeed.
Oh, great! Congratulations.
Gratitude.
Let me ask you, Empress, did you send at least one affidavit that has the court action language on it?
Islam, indeed.
That means it was filed in our court first.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And anything that they have put on the record has been rebutted with our information as well. And that's why I said there is another piece. I want to talk on outside of this. So it's more going on.
Yeah.
I want it to benefit everyone.
Yeah. Oh, it will, Empress. It already has. That's beautiful.
Islam Emperor Nabi, you say you want to talk after the call is recorded?
We can actually do another call if I would like us to do a different call to be able to discuss what's going on, some detail.
Okay, so you mean like just a separate side call instead of a Congress?
Really quick, yes.
Okay.
And we can pick a day.
Yeah, or we can do it right at, we'll pick a day. We'll let you pick a day, Empress.
Can you discuss why Shasha's still in jail?
Whenever you want to, Empress is good for us.
How about Wednesday?
Let's discuss why Shasha can free herself.
What you're saying?
Why can't Shasha free herself?
Yes.
This is Gloria Valashkovsky, but I would like to be included in this call.
Why did Aisha have to pay $400 fiat for her car?
Empress, can you give us or you want to meet on this platform?
That's fine.
Or do you have a platform? Or either one is fine with me.
We can do this one Wednesday. Look, Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
How about?
No, that will be news.
We command the airways. It's Wednesday, and 7. So 7 Eastern.
Okay. Islam indeed. So this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So the day before our Thursday at 7. So is it anyone willing to come, or Empress, or did you want it to be certain ones, or?
I would like us to kind of iron out some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I bring it out to the Islam.
Okay. And congratulations, Empress. When our courts speak, I'm telling you, we are definitely E.F. Hutton. When our courts speak, everyone listens. Everyone listens.
Islam.
Indeed. In the Biblios, in the book of Isaiah, Islam, Empress Cynthia.
I'm confused. Is the meeting on Wednesday for all of Congress or a select Islam?
Empress Nabi?
I would like for us
EBA.
to be able to work it out, and then we will bring it before the entire Congress.
Islam, thank you.
Islam.
Okay.
Islam.
Empress.
So she's saying like she'll work it out, and then by Sunday we'll know how she wants to proceed.
In a Congress after
Sunday, yeah. Sunday.
Okay, Sunday, yeah, Sunday.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Islam.
Well, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this Congress?
Islam. Khaled Mohammed Bey, Trinidad and Tobago Territory. I just wanted to say my gratitude to the Congress and those who have assisted in pivot, assisted in learning, etc. And to you, of course, for your wisdom, your guidance. I'd also like to bring to the forefront as to how something that, has presented itself in terms of my understanding of time and movement. So just awareness, for the sake of awareness, the last Congress we identified that the need, or it has been presented by the ancestors, where you would have put aside time for smaller additional meetings. I received that as strategic leadership. Fast forward to today, the present, that presentment of the break-off groups, small groups that are towards the same goal, strategic development. Yeah. What has manifested within the last couple of minutes, identifying the same or similarly, where we continue with, in a timely fashion, sessions twice a week, open up sessions, little smaller sessions to discuss strategic leadership. This is just identifying where we are, where we're heading, how we ground ourselves, because this requires. So I'd like to say full respect to Noble Phoenix for his vigor in his statement, because I respect it in its totality, and I will also add to the ideology of we having these small groups and really shaking hands, really meeting in fairness, meeting in love, to push towards the greater goal. We all are at different levels. And we accept that. As I mentioned in the chat, this is part of the ascension process. Everyone is at a different place.
Yeah.
And we must respect that.
Yes.
Right? So I just want to share that just to show the dynamics of time, that cosmic awareness, and what is flowing throughout. The doors have been, pushed wider open, and we must honor ourselves in the accepting of that energy, and as we ground it off, and respect it to our peers, our brothers and sisters, nobles, emperors, empresses alike. And I look forward to forward movement. Peace.
Islam. Thank you, nobility. Yeah. Indeed. This Congress is a Congress that is talked about and spoken of, let me put it that way, spoken of very, very often out there, apparently. I don't get to hear a lot of the stuff that's out there. The ancestors have shielded me from what we're here, what was brought to our attention in the last week, apparently. But we're spoken of very often on all platforms that have to do with more science and otherwise. And there's a reason for that. It's because of the work that's being done. And whether they're saying things positively or otherwise, the fact that there's always mention of this Congress. I mean, sometimes I go onto YouTube, and I just randomly pick, a Moorish video from somewhere just to see if it has, if it has a good title, I'll pick it, and I'm listening, and I'll hear something about this Congress on there that I didn't know was out there. And so the work that we're doing is touching so many lives, so many, and we haven't even started yet with the whole recruitment of, and it's not really recruitment, it's winning our brothers and sisters full-fledged, front and center. We haven't even started with that one we've been busy saving ourselves, but that time is near. And so the more we just remain consistent, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to meet 7 days a week for 8 hours a day to get things done. Just stay consistent with, like we've been doing. We've been consistent. We've been at this for almost 7 years straight with very few breaks, very few. And I can't even call it a break again. Very few pulling back of the energy online. Very, very few times where we did not have a meeting. And I know there's a reason for that. The ancestors are making it even clearer to me now why that was so important. All the heavy lifting, we did it already. And we can truly state for the record that we have the keys. We have the keys. We don't have to ask anybody to go in our treasury. We don't have to wait for anybody to give us anything from the treasury because we got the keys. And so now all we're doing is further manifesting that. And that's what these processes are doing in terms of our system. It's the law of use, as we stated at the beginning of this Congress, the law of use. We use it, and then we give the keys, a set of keys to our heirs, and they give a set of keys to their heirs, and so on and so on and so on, until we decide generationally down the line otherwise. So with that being stated, Islam Empress.
Can I get your email address, please?
Yes. It is the government with an E on the end of government at gmail.com. So THE government with an E on the end at gmail.com. That one has been full for quite a while. So you can also send an email to the one that's about 98% now full. It's lightbaymorishnation@gmail.com. That one as well. All of that will be changing in the near future to .government emails or .gov or .government emails. But until that time, those are the two. lightbaymorishnation@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Empress, I had I had government.com, and it never got to you because I left out the D.
Yeah. thegovernment@gmail.com. Yeah.
Thank you. And one
You're
more
welcome.
question.
His time
Is there somewhere that you can point us to locate an example of a trust that for Moors?
Yes. You could literally Google the words Moorish trust, and trust will come up. Some will come up from Scribd, some will come up from other websites, but you could literally Google it. And here's the thing: when you Google it, put quotation marks around the word that you Google. Put quotation marks, and that way the exact phrase will come up. Just Google Moorish trust, and a lot of stuff will come up. When I first nationalized in 2017, you couldn't find hardly anything out there online about Moors, Moorish trust, Moorish science, nothing. Today, there's like millions, literally millions of entries for certain Moorish terms, just to put in the word Moorish. And some of those are by subjects in the office of court jester, and other things are just by Moors. The majority is by Moors, putting things on the public record time after time after time. So for that, we're grateful. Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom?
Islam, Empress.
Islam nobility.
No, I just wanted to add on what you were saying. Like, I remember when it was just seemed like nobody with ties was online. It seemed like talking Moorish.
Right. When it was like that in 2017, it was our Grand Chief Tariq Bey and
Raz Mariah. That was all I used to see.
RV Bey was online, the website, and yeah, that was it. There weren't hardly really even any temples or anything. And today, Moors, that's why I say, don't let anybody tell you any different. This movement is moving. It's growing. It's flourishing even in the time of supposed recession. This movement is growing. And for us, it's not a recession. It's a time of prosperity, abundance. All we have to do is continue working. That's it. We have today more money than we've ever had. I can literally print money and be stacks and stacks and stacks of money. I have stacks and stacks and stacks of money. I have more money than I've ever had in my life. Ever. Today. I am wealthier today. I have manifested land ownership more than I ever knew I could ever imagine. Today. And we're all actually there. We're all actually at that place. It's just a matter of stating it and knowing it. And then continuing to cast that spell on ourselves. But I can show the money. We got more than enough. All we have to do now is continue using it. Continue using it. If there be nothing further from this Holy Congress, we will go ahead and adjourn until Thursday at the appointed time. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign original, or Wednesday for the subgroup and Thursday, not the subgroup, Wednesday for the smaller group. Yeah, and Thursday for the Congress. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs, Islam.
Peace and grand
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam.
Islam, thank you.
Islam.
Grand rising, grand rising.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Islam.
That's it,